Okay, so this is really the sort of thing that I should do before the stream starts, but sound test, sound test. Sound test, sound. Sound, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I am speaking with my normal voice in this normal location. Okay, it seems to be working fine. Okay, let's close the bitrate unstable. That's just the way I'm used to doing things. Alright, so, you can read it on top. That's what I'm gonna be doing today, because I haven't done this in a while, even though last time I literally said that I was going to start doing this more often. God damn it, I closed the window by accident. There you go. Even though literally I said last time that I was going to be doing this more often, it turns out that I was lying, I guess. That's the thing that I do sometimes. Welcome? See, this is why I have no viewers. Oh, well, it's fine. It's like I've always said. This is really just an excuse to work on shit. And work on shit I will. So, between the last time I streamed and today, there's been a couple of developments in the world of Godot game development. And by a couple of developments I mean one, and I mostly mean that Godot 4.4 came out. I will not be using 4.4. Mostly because I'm afraid that my project will break if I go forward. It's generally a good idea to not change your development version too much if you can help it, and considering that this is not like an ongoing game, even though it's become that, it's not supposed to be an ongoing game, like one that has to continue development. I feel like it's a good idea to just, it's not a terrible idea to just stay with 4.3 for a little bit at least. So yeah, that'll be what I'll be doing. I'll be continuing to use Godot 4.3 until I come across a feature that I really need for 4.44. 4.44. Yeah, fucking try saying that 3 times fast. So, it's been a while since I did this, so this is going to take a bit. Why is the screen white? It should be. Oh, there you go, that's fine. Okay. Wait, is this my display? It's my monitor. Okay, then I have to make an adjustment. First of all, I have to hide icons. How do I hide icons on this? Desktop settings. No desktop icons. And then desktop background, just make like a flat color. Oh fuck, how do I do this? God damn it. I stream unprepared. This seems to be my ammo. Give me a second. Oh hey, my bitrate's green. That's unusual. It's usually just red the whole time. Yeah, sure, that works. That's generic enough. Ass Stalker. Hello. That's a hell of a name. Welcome. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. This is the screen. Okay. Let's see if I can remember what the fuck I was doing last time I streamed this. I seem to remember some progress being made in the matter of how I didn't expect to see you here. What do you mean you didn't expect to see me here? Do I know you? Feels like I know you. Feels like you think that you know me. Let's see, stage. Well, please tell me who you are then. Stage, there you go. This is the game. Hey, Nex. I just forgot your nickname, dude. I'm terrible with that sort of thing. Okay, so this is what we were doing last time, right? So let's see. What was it? What was it like? Right. Yes, I remember. Wow, that was actually a lot of progress that I did last time. I basically said the system, I know that game. But that would mean that you would have to be somebody from class, right? Or you just happen to stumble upon my itch page, which I guess is also possible. Yeah, I'm remaking it. I'm trying to put more stuff into it, and that one was made in Unity. I'm making it in Godot again, so that I can... Well, the idea was so that I could learn Godot, but by now I've learned it pretty well, and I just need to finish this, right? Let's see. Okay, so yeah, last time what I did was I basically made a bunch of resource types that would allow me to have more control over the bullets, and then I made a bunch of other resource types that would let me organize the bullets into patterns that were, different bullets that are grouped into different attacks that are then grouped into different attack patterns that would govern how the enemy would shoot its bullet at you, right? And the whole point is that that way I can have easy control over complicated attack patterns that the enemy would have. So that's all well and good. The problem is that I don't know what I needed to do next. That's funny. That's actually kind of funny, honestly. Oh, that's who you are. Okay, you sent me a message on Discord. Okay, so that's you. It's good to know. Yeah, of course I do. Been fucking speaking English. Okay, so yeah, he just sent me a DM saying that that I speak English very well. Yeah, I've been speaking honestly lately for the last couple of years. I've been speaking more English than Spanish, like actually for sure, especially since the pandemic and everything. Most of my online friends speak English and not Spanish, so I pretty much only spoke Spanish with my family during that whole period of time. So that's why my English is so well practiced. Anyway, good to have you here. Anyway, okay, so okay, with this whole conversation of knowing somebody in chat, I have a feeling that maybe you, the viewer, would not have been able to appreciate how funny what just happened was, right? Okay, let me explain it. On the stream, I usually have a little white text box that I put in the corner that I use so that the stream looks nicer in the time lapses that I make and then upload to YouTube, and also so that I can be reminded of the thing that I'm currently working on, so that I don't get distracted and start working on something else and then I lose the thread, right? So I just pin in the corner a thing that says what I'm currently working on, and then when I'm done with one thing, what I want to work on later, right? And I turned it on so that I could remember, because I haven't streamed in like a month. And this is what it says. Yeah, bro, if you don't know, I don't know either. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, so fucking total crapshoot this time. What are we gonna do then? Well, okay, so okay, let's just be sure. Let's just be sure that this works fine, right? So like as of right now, the bullets hit the player and they do kill him. So that's probably a thing, and then nothing happens. So let's make sure that point where nothing happens is actually It's actually like, you know, the player actually has to properly respawn, right? So the thing is, for the design of this game, right, is I have to. I'm hoping that this is a game where you just play and you just kind of keep playing, right? Like, I don't want to kick you back to the menu and put a big game over screen on top of you, right? Like, what I want to do is that the enemy recovers a certain amount of health. That's your punishment for game overing. And then the game keeps going and you respawn, right? So I basically need to do that, right? I need to do that because right now the player just disappears when you game over, and that's obviously not the best. Another thing that I want to do is to have it so that the bullets feel more punchy when they hit you, right? Like, a hit has to be satisfying. So probably a particle will be the thing that we want to do. Like, when you get hit by a bullet, by one of the wings, a particle spawns and just you can see it fly, and that's like your indication that you've been hit. It also needs a really punchy sound effect, but I don't have any sound effects right now, so that's a worry for later. So yeah, that's what I need. I need the reactions for when you get hit. So let's just write that. What to do when the player gets hit and dies. And this is what we're going to be working on, these reactions. So let me just grab that. Let me just grab that. I sort of fucking got... Oh, it's because the group is locked. Like this, and then the white part of it, just like this. To do this. And I'm gonna write it a bit prettier because working to do player gets hit particles, player death sequence, and that's gonna be enough for right now. So yeah, this will be what we're working on right this moment. Let's leave it here. Okay. So, probably make it a bit smaller. This is covering quite a bit of the screen. Like this. Okay. So. Then. First of all, there's this print here that is kind of bothering me, and that's probably a good starting point, actually. I have the... No, this is the angel. Okay, so I'm running across this issue fairly often, and I've noticed this since before the streams, the other streams, where the enemy is called Angel and the player is called Player, but they're both angels. So it keeps confusing me. I should call the enemy just enemy. Is that gonna fuck something up? I don't think anything references this by name. And let's just change it, and if something breaks, we'll just change it back. Enemy. Without the E. Enemy. And then this one would be called rename. Enemy. Oh, let me see. Okay. And then I'll save it. Okay, so now the player, we have the player right here. Okay, so there's this, there's somewhere that is printing this dead message, and that is a good starting point. That means that we know where in the code the player is being killed from, which is on health bar depleted, Q free. But it's not here, is it? Because this thing is reacting to the health bar being depleted, so it's reacting to this signal, which is here. Okay, yeah. So when the player has one of its health bars depleted, it queues free, and yeah, so this is where that code should be, right? This is where the code of the player game over should be. So that is thing number one. And Thing number 2 would be the particles themselves, which should be when the bullets themselves disappear. Because the bullets themselves disappear for a couple of reasons, one of which is hitting the player, and the other which is hitting player bullets. And I could make it so that they are actually different particles, so that the messaging is very, very clear. Like, you sort of know that one of the particles are just kind of there and the other are, yeah. So, okay, let's start with that. The particles seems like they would be the easier thing. So let's begin with that. Where are the bullets? Player bullet, health bar, enemy bullet. We have these enemy bullets, and when these bullets, speed factor, rotation factor, on impact area entered. Q3, on impact area entered. Yeah, when something enters their impact area, they free themselves. That's how every bullet works. And enemy bullets are bullet types, just with their own parameters. Okay, I was checking some other stuff. Very professional streams here, as you know. Okay, so that's what we're working on. We're working on player gets hit particles. We have the code for the bullets, which is general code for every type of bullet. So we probably don't. We want different particles to be spawned when the impact area gets entered, depending on who enters that impact area, right? So what we could do in order to make this generalizable for the player bullets as well is to have rotation curve time, rotation, yeah. Oh, fuck me. Is to have we could have a couple of arrays and have these arrays be so that each array holds a type of collider, a type of area, and a corresponding spawner that should, or object, just any node that should spawn when the collision is detected against that particular area. That's the first thing. The problem is that this incurs in 2 arrays, and like the ideal thing would be to use a dictionary, but dictionaries do not work particularly well when exported in Godot, so I would actually have to have 2 arrays so that I could actually work from them from the inspector here. And I'm not sure that that's the best way to do that. Well, I mean, it's the best way that I can think to do it, right? So, yeah, okay. So how would I know which things it is colliding with? I guess the best way to do that would be groups, especially since I'm not using groups for anything. And then if it doesn't match any of those, then it just doesn't spawn anything, right? So would groups be the best way to do it? Probably, right? Because then I get to have different classes that use the same script, but that just don't really do this. Rotation curve term, speed curve term. What are these for? Oh wait, that code. How does the code work then? Does it work for the player? If I should have, like, yeah, no, this is throwing a bunch of errors whenever I shoot a bullet, and I think, yeah. Okay, so this needs to be fixed. Before that, let's see. Yeah, we have to fix that. Because the player bullet doesn't actually have rotation curves, so they don't actually use these rotation curve timers. So... what are these used for, actually? Oh, that's what they're used for. So, but wait. Oh yeah, because the rotation curve is null, it doesn't even check this to begin with. Right, the player doesn't have speed or rotation curves, they just appear. Right, so really what I have to do is just make sure that these nodes exist in here, which is not, it's a really easy fix. I can just... do you have auto start? No? Okay. So you two copy them and then paste them here. There you go, that fixes the bug. Or, well, it's not a bug, that fixes the error messages. Yeah, okay, we're doing good. Another thing that I'm noticing is that the player bullets are not destroying the bullets, the enemy bullets, which they should. The enemy just died. Okay, the enemy just died? Should the enemy have died? Did I code it so that the enemy will die when that happens? It shouldn't. Angel. On health bar depleted Q3. Oh, okay, so it's literally just because I didn't bother to do this yet. Okay, so that's an issue for later. The enemy shouldn't die, it should go to next phase. That's what should happen. Okay, so now the particles, the actual particles, the actual thing that I came here to do. So the thing that they need is to have two arrays that represent corresponding positions, corresponding tags, corresponding groups that will cause the bullet to spawn corresponding scenes upon being Q3'd. So that should be two exported variables. Export var group group collision reactives. What do you call something that is reactive to? Reactives? Reactor? No, the reactor is the one that reacts. The one that is reacted upon is the reactee? What do you call that? Actually, this is a very obtuse name anyway, so I should probably call it something else. It will be a group something that is a group. Yeah, it's an array of the names of the groups that will cause this to spawn a different thing upon collision. Let's call it the react table. A collision react table. Collision react list. It is an array of strings. And I'm gonna explain in the comment because otherwise I forget. This is the names of the groups that will cause the bullet to spawn something upon collision before self-destroying. Bit of a long comment, that's fine. Export var and then spawn on collision array of these should be node to these, and these are the things spawned when colliding with one of the above. There you go. So those are the variables, and now we should need to fill them, and then and then on impact area entered, what you're going to do before queue freeing is you're going to check this list, and if the thing that you have collided is one of those, then you're going to spawn that one, the corresponding one. So yeah, so for each element, for each, they are strings, but for each group in collision react list, if the area that you collided with is in group, then you're going to spawn, and we're just gonna spawn the corresponding spawn on collision. So spawn on collision, yeah, we need a counter, var counter, and this is going to equal to 0. And then for each one of those, you're going to increase the counter by 1 plus 1. Yeah, for each one of those, you're going to increase the counter by 1 so that we know which position we're in. And then you're going to spawn this element. Area is not declared in current scope. Oh yeah, that's because, yeah, okay, that's fine. Like that. I think I'm coming down with the sickness. Why don't I only stream when I'm feeling sick? Am I stupid? I may be stupid. I realize this is a thing with me, like every single time, or maybe just streaming makes me feel sick. Could be. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, this element is the one that we need to spawn. So how do we spawn it? That is, how do I spawn something on? Right, so how do I spawn something in Godot? I know that in Unity it's just point instantiate, but in Godot it's a bit more complicated, isn't it? How do you spawn something in Godot? This is a basic ass question, so Google's gonna have the answer. Godot, how do I spawn a thing? Just... Hi, I need help. How do I spawn in objects? This is Reddit, so be ready for the top comment to be some absolutely stupid thing. Scenes to instance, preload, function, instance object. Scene to instance, call deferred, add child object. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so I already have the scene to instance, and then object, yeah, create a new object, make it, yeah, create a reference to an object, and then call the instance function on the scene, on the packed scene. So yeah, okay, so we can just do that. Variable instanced node equals the result of taking the one that we want to spawn and calling instance on it. And then this instance node, it exists, but it's currently in limbo, so we need to grab it and add it to the tree. And we don't want to add it to the root of the tree, because I already learned from a previous project that can cause bugs if you're working when you start making like level managers and other things that are like at the actual root of the tree, because then you're adding them as siblings to those, and it's like an enemy shouldn't be a sibling to the level loader, right? So, or much less a particle. Although a particle is short-lived, so it probably wouldn't cause an issue, but you know, still. So we want to add it as the, since this object is about to be Q-freed, like literally same frame, we shouldn't add it as a child, we should add it as a sibling, which means that we should get the parent and add it to that. So, and so, yeah. So, how do I get the parent of this object? Is it just like this? No, but it's like this. Get parent, so we have the parent, and then to that parent we want to add a child, and that child is the thing that we just want. So the instance node. And that should do it. And now in order to test it, we're going to need to do a couple of things. So first of all, what I want to do is I want for the enemy bullets to spawn a little particle. So first of all, I'm going to need that particle, right? So let's create a new folder here that is going to be called particles. And in here, we're going to create a new scene. It's going to be a 2D node. This is going to be called... let's call it bullet particle, and we're going to have that as a base, and then we're going to create variants of it that are basically just different colors for the different reactions, right? So bullet particle, like this. And then this should be, yeah, like this. So this should be a CPU particle, right? So change the type. Oh man, I always forget which is the one that I want to use. There's one that's like the usual choice, and I forget whether it's CPU or GPU. GD script, should I use CPU or GPU particles? Because like, obviously they both have their uses, but there's one that's like you know, rule of thumb, if you really don't need like something crazy to be happening, there's one of them that you really should use. Okay, spin on with base cards. I'm pretty sure this tells you how GPU works in general. Blah 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 blah. Okay, did you check with forward rendering? How about moving competition? Oh, fucking these guys are running an actual analysis on this. I just want the fucking noob question asked. State of particles and future updates. Unity GPU particles, particle system 3D, CPU particles use process material. This is the part of the stream when I get really silent because I'm googling something. Hope you're enjoying the music. Oh, okay, so yeah, CPU particles. Yep, okay. So now I have this particle. Let's just make it really simple. I just want to time, yeah, okay, one shot. Okay, so yeah, I want them to run in basically every direction. Oh, it's the gravity, right? Yeah, I want them to have no gravity, and then an initial velocity of, let's say, 20 and 5. No, it needs to be way more. Let's say 230 and 100. Right? Yeah, like that. And then I want them, they have to be way more. They have to be way more because they have to last way less. Right? So then emission shape should definitely be a point. Yeah, a point works. Drawing, nope, time, one shot. Okay, 100 is way too much. Let's do 10. Oh, okay, so the lifetime should be 0.5, just very little. Oh no, that's the lifetime of each one. Oh, why are you lagging? You shouldn't lag. You shouldn't lag with this much. Okay, yeah, so this should be 0.1. Bro, they shouldn't lag this much. What the fuck? Did I do something wrong? This is as basic of a particle as it gets. It shouldn't be lagging my shit. Like, it really shouldn't. And it wasn't until I made it a one shot. Hold on. Why? Why would that lag? Okay, good time to go to Google again, I guess. Godot, why is one-shot particles lagging the shit out of my editor? Okay, that just doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so the actual question though is that going to lag in the game, or is it only the inspector that's lagging? Because I can think of that being the case, like where, right? Because it's definitely not the amount of particles, because like I can have way more particles, like look, 500, right? And if I don't make it in one shot, this is fine. Like I could even have 10,000. Right? And that's fine too. But if I make it a one shot, then it doesn't like it. And it doesn't like it any less just because it's 10,000, it just doesn't like it. So why is that? Maybe 500 and just... 500 is way too much. The problem is that if it lags, I can't see it. I can't see how it's looking. What is fract delta? Just play with settings until something makes it not lag, I guess. 30. 60. Doesn't speed scale one shot. Why would this be the thing? Is it because they have no texture? Let's say if I just give them a random texture. don't see why that should be the case, but let's say new just gradient texture 2D, right? No, that's still lags. Okay, so that's not the issue then. Emission shape, particle flags, direction. Direction? The direction is just 0. And this doesn't make a difference because the spread is 180, so gravity, initial velocity, angular. If I just set these all... Okay, let's do something. Let's just set everything back to default values and only change the one-shot thing and see if that lags. So make it a one-shot. It does lag. Okay, why? That's fucking stupid. Okay, so here's the question. Does that actually lag? Okay, we're just testing right now. Is that going to actually lag the... Let's just make it really noticeable. Let's give them 20 and have them be alive for 0.1 seconds. Right, which should look... Yeah, and just do the thing that we were doing. So angular velocity... Not angular, just initial velocity. We're gonna make it like 50 to 200, and then the direction is going to be fully spread. It's gonna look like sort of like that, and then gravity. That's the other thing. Gravity 0. Right, and let's just have this particle exist and just spawn it whenever any bullet collides with basically anything. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. If I have one that is empty, then let's just make it so that this happens anyway, right? So I have a default, so I can set a default particle, right? So I can just have it be so that if the area is in group, or the group is actually an empty string, then you're going to spawn the corresponding one, right? And that allows me to have just one default thing that will always be spawned kind of no matter what, right? If I so want to. So now I can have it so that the enemy bullet has one reaction to nothing or to everything that is going to spawn this bullet particle. Oh, because it has to be a packed scene. Yeah, a packed scene. There you go. That's the type, and then this one will be here. Attempted to send an object of type packed scene into a typed array which does not inherit from node 2D. What? But what? But that should work though. What? But this is the packed scene array. Look, load. Bullet particle. Why did it not work that time? Okay, that's silly. Okay, so now let's see. Does the game lag with every spawned particle? Oh, he didn't even get to spawn it. Inverted call. Non-existent function instance in base packed scene. Packed scenes have the instance. Instance? I think it's not instance. I think it's called instantiate actually. No, it is instance. What? Okay. Oh. Did I misspell it? IENSTANCE. INS stance. Yeah. Oh my god, am I going off of old code? Instance GD script. And this is what happens when you take advice from Reddit instead of looking at the actual documentation. Let this be a lesson. Guys. Instantiate. Yep, there you go. This is what I want. How's your... Yep, no, it's just like that. Okay, there we go. And let's see if this actually starts lagging everything. Okay, so I can tell you no lagging happened, but I'm also not sure if anything was instantiated actually. Print something. Print me a message that says that spawned, something has been indeed spawned. Okay, so no message has been printed, which means that you haven't gone into here. Which means that either the area is not in group, which makes sense because we have no groups yet, but the group is not equal to the empty string, which is odd because it should be. This should be the empty string, right? So let's... Are you even print group? Are you even doing the check? No. What? Then how are they queue freeing? Hello? What the fuck? Okay. So who's calling this? Is the impact area, right? And the impact area is calling that when the area is entered by another area. So is the player just not an area? And if not, then how come they are being queue freed? How come the bullets are despawning? This is what happens when you don't look at your code for a month, man. You forget everything. There seems to be no other place where this is queue freed, so it has to be running this. But this tells me that it's not, so what's going on? No, it is! Ah, fuck, I was just looking at the wrong menu. Fuck's sake. Okay. Again. Are you spawning the particle? Yes, okay. So what I want you to do also on top of this player bullet thing, reacting to the player, you also need to react to other bullets. Like player bullets need to be able to destroy you, right? So currently what you're doing is you are on the player bullet? No, you're on the enemy bullet layer and you're looking for player and boundaries. I also want you to look for player bullets, because player bullets should be able to destroy you. Right? Like that. Exactly like that. Okay. And let's have it so that the enemy has a billion health, just to make it easier to test. So where's the enemy? Where's the enemy? Where's the enemy? Right here. Okay. Let's give you target. Yeah, your health bar is the one that holds those numbers. So let's have it so that you have just a billion health, right? That's not a billion. But yeah, just an impractical amount of health. But the bullets shouldn't be able to penetrate, but that's whatever at this point. So is it spawning the bullets? It thinks that it is. It's definitely running this code. But is it instancing the child? Like, is the instance node actually correct? Instance node in the enemy bullet is In this case, it is the first string in this array, which is this packed scene, which is open scene, the bullet particle, which is the one that looks like this. Do I have to fucking emit it because it starts us off? It's fucking stupid. Obviously, it should be on spawn. That's the point of a particle, you piece of shit. God damn it. This is really silly that I have to do this, that the engine works this way, but whatever. Okay, on the bullet script, we're going to make sure that once the instance node is spawned, if it is of type particle, if instance node is particle, yeah, CPU particles, then instance node as CPU part, then consider it that, and then I want you to, there should be a function that is just called play or emit, or actually I can look for it here. It's emitting with two T's. Okay, point emitting equals true, which is the kind of thing that kind of, right? Because the problem is that, like, for preview purposes, emitting turns itself off when one shot is done, right? So that you can actually see how it works, but that shouldn't transfer to the way that the thing gets saved. That should be just for preview purposes. That's the thing that I'm considering pretty dumb here. But whatever. I've realized that the players have suddenly become able to exit the barriers, which he wasn't before. So what's going on there? Also, the bullets don't seem to be spawning. The code is certainly convinced that they are being spawned. Are they CPU particles? Did I forget and it was GPU? No, it was CPU particles. Then, what the hell? Print. Like, is this happening? Print. Yes. Yeah, it is happening. It's happening a lot, actually. Are the particles for some reason being spawned under the background? I'll be a laugh. Let's make them like a different color. Let's make them like bright fucking red so that just I can see them. Because maybe that's it. Maybe they are spawning and I just can't see them. Are they just tiny? It's like... they're definitely not lagging. Let's make it scale like 200. Oh no, it just scales the particle system. It doesn't actually scale the... okay. That's funny. Actually, let's put this on the board, right? Let's put this on the scene. So what is this? The stage, and let's put one of these particles and see how big they are. Right? Like compared to the screen. Yeah, no wonder I can't see them. They're fucking tiny. The size on screen is like this big. Okay, I can see them if I get this close. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. Okay, so we need to make them bigger. And clearly I can't with just the debugger? What do you do, man? Oh, okay, yeah, I forgot about that. That's just some code that it doesn't matter. Okay, so we need to make you bigger. Where are you? Scale. Okay, scale minimum, let's make it like 20 and maximum 40 just to have some variation. Yeah, fucking whatever. And then we'll make the initial velocity multiply both of these by fucking 20. Yeah, I mean, this is silly, but let's just have it be like that. Oh, because you're spawning them there. Okay, but does that serve to test a couple of things, right? Because first of all, the particles are successfully spawning. They probably were visible the whole time, and I just couldn't see them because they were in a place different than what I was looking for, right? So that answers question number one. But the other thing is that if they are, the other thing is that they are only lagging the editor. They're not lagging on the game. So that's fine. I don't have to be afraid of that. Actually, let's put them back to their normal size, just 1 to 1, and just have them be like 200 and 400. And let's see if that is like visible, right? Maybe it was visible the whole time. Yeah, they are visible, but barely. Like you can see in the eye. If you look really closely, you can kind of see them, but like it's tiny. But whatever. We know how to make them bigger now. And really, we should just give them a texture too. That would also help. But anyway, the point is, the particles are spawning and they are not lagging when they're spawned in the game. The one-shot emission lag that happens seems to only apply to the editor, which is annoying, but it's not a problem that we have to fix. We can just leave it be and just sort of be aware of that. Okay, so let's go back to the bullet script and remove this print. I do wish that the prints gave you a stack trace. Like that would be nice, you know? Okay, so we have this system for spawning things. We have to make sure now that they actually spawn in the position that they're supposed to. I imagine that because they're being put in the parent, then that's the position that they're taking. That's an easy fix. We have to just take the instance node's global position. It has to be global because otherwise it's going to be relative to the parent, which, well, actually, it doesn't have to be. Since it's going to be a sibling of this, then it can just be the normal position. We have to take its normal position and make it equal to the position of this node that spawned it, so that it appears at the same place. Like that. And it's the instance node singular. There you go. Right, I forgot you can't see it. I should turn off that thing so that you can't just see all my desktop suddenly when I accidentally mouse over the corner of the screen. It's not like I have anything on the desktop, but like that's for today. Maybe someday I will, and then it's gonna be a problem. You're gonna get to see fucking... Oh no, what could I have? There's like porn, right? That would be the thing. I don't really put it on the desktop. I don't know why I would start, but you know, don't want to open yourself to the possibilities. What I'm saying. Right. What was it? Yeah, I need to make it bigger so that I can see it, and that's just a matter of taking this scale and getting like 10. Yeah, so now they are spawning where they should, right? You can see them get destroyed. So that's good. Now let's see if I can get them to spawn differently depending on who is getting hit, right? So for the player, they should spawn... let's just do it like this. For the player, they should spawn red bullets. For other bullets, when they get destroyed, they should spawn white bullets. Let's just do it like that because that is easy. That is an easy way to do it. So... And then we also get to test how the system works. So for the normal ones, these are going to be these bullets, these completely white particles. They're going to be the bullet particles. And then we're going to create a inherited scene, which I don't usually get to use. This is going to be called, yeah, and this is going to be the player hit, or actually let's just call it the, yeah, let's just call it the player hit particle, right? And this one is going to be red, right? Modulate. It's just everything else exactly the same, but it's going to be red, right? Just pure red, which is not the best look, by the way, but like, whatever. Scenes, particles, and this is going to be a player hit particle like that, yep. And these all inherit from this, so just gotta remember. Right, so they're white, is what they should be, and when the player gets hit, right, because I forgot to add it to the whole list. So player bullet, yeah, the enemy bullets. When the enemy bullets hit anything, they just spawn those particles. When they instead hit, well, actually, they shouldn't spawn the white ones when you hit the player necessarily, right? So we have this player hit particle. I really hate that the preview never looks like what it should be. And then this one's going to be, yeah, so now we're going to need to define those groups, right? So that's easy, we can just define them here. So we have a new global group that is going to be called player bullets. Player bullet, right? Make it global. Bullets that the player shoots. We're gonna need another group that is player, the player object node. Dorothy is about to crash. See? Why does a text entry make it crash? Oh, give me a second, I gotta reopen this. Fucking Linux things, am I right? And it's still better than using Windows. It never crashed once when I was using Windows, man. It never did. But for some reason, on Linux it is. I don't know, I probably just have a scuffed setup. Realistically, that's what's going on, right? But it's fine. The whole fucking thing auto-saves. It doesn't, but I save often. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get got by that. It's just as easy as reopening it. Will I have it? Okay, there we go. We're back. Okay, so where were we? We were doing the bullet. Yep, we're doing this, and then we need another group that is for the player. It's going to be a global group that is going to be for the player node itself and anything that needs to be recognized as a player. So now we go to the player bullet and we make sure to... So here's an issue. Do I get to do that to the player? Sorta. Yeah, so here's an issue. The issue is that this is checking for the groups of the things, right? But is it checking for the groups that the areas belong to? But the thing that should belong to the groups would not be the area itself, but their parents. And I can't just freely access their parents because right now we know that it's their parents, but at some point it may be the parent of a parent. So what do? Do I just give the area the group? Does that sound like a wise decision? Because like I could just give it a group, right? Like obviously that would work. But I'm wondering if that's actually organizationally prudent to do. Prudent. That's a pretentious little word, isn't it? If that would be a prudent thing to do, right? Because because ba, 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 ba. Because because it just doesn't feel right? It doesn't feel right to give a group that is meant to be for the whole object to something that is only a part of it. Or I could just give it to every bit of it and just, you know, to every single thing within it. And no, but then if I have something that has got a call-up function within those groups, then it's going to be a problem, right? To have that group, to have a node and all of its children be part of the group, right? Like, surely the player group should be occupied only by things that are themselves players, not things that are components of the player, right? Because then if I have a node that has to tell every player to, you know, take all of its life, its sprite doesn't know what the fuck its life is. It doesn't care. That's the whole point of organizing this in nodes. So I guess what I should do is just make a group that is specifically for the area, which seems scuffed. Seems like a very scuffed thing to do. But what other way can I recognize it, right? Because the main issue is that the groups is the way that I thought of to check in an area is part of a certain thing. Right? And that's not exactly what I may want to do. Right. I guess what I should do then is I guess I could check collision layers. If you collide it with a thing in this and that collision layer, then you do that. Now that feels a bit more scuffed. I guess I should I could check its parent, but I don't always know that it's going to be the parent. Like, you can easily think of a thing, an entity that is formed of many things that has, like, let's say, many arms, and each of its arms has its own collision bug, so each area is attached to the arm, so its parent is not the parent object, but rather the arm, and then it's not going to have the tag. So I can't rely on it being a parent, a direct parent of the thing that I'm looking for. And I can't keep checking parents because eventually I'll just end up checking the scene tree, and that's obviously not what I want to do. I guess I should make groups that are for the individual, for the areas. Player, area. I don't like this. I don't like that I'm doing this. Player, bullets, area. Right? Just the collision areas. Not a scene group! Bullet, area. Right, like this. What the fuck? Bullet area. There you go. Why did that do that? Okay. And then I get to do that. So now the player bullet area has this, and the enemy bullet has nothing, and then the player area has this. Like that. And then these spawn white things, but these... Oh, right, I forgot to set it, didn't I? Enemy bullets, yeah, it reacts to two things. One is the player the player bullet area, player bullet area. The other will be the player area, and to the player bullet area, it'll spawn a bullet particle, and for the player area, it will instead spawn a player hit particle, like that. Right, so those are, yeah, there you go. So the system works. Now I have to make particles that don't look like complete ass, right? That's an issue for later. Yeah, okay. So let's write it in the to-do list. We have to make particles that don't look like complete ass. Make particles that look presentable. And we will take this group and put it here. Yep, like that. And shrink this a little bit because that's very big. Okay, but we do have the particle system set up, so now we just have to make particles and then integrate them into the thing. And I'm thinking of doing that at some later point. That doesn't need to be done today necessarily, right? Okay. So having one objective down, I think it's a good idea to change the music. I think this is the looped version of this song. Hold on. Yeah, okay, so because I am great at streaming, I made looped versions of these songs so that you don't have to listen to the fucking song start and stop. And because I'm an amazing streamer, after making those, I then forgot that I had them, and then just gave you the one that looped badly for the whole start of this stream. Oops, sorry about that. Nothing but wins today, huh? Okay. So, the second thing that we want is a player death sequence, and that... Right, so from the design side, right, how do I want it to work? Because the way that it worked in the game that I have uploaded to itch is that the game, the player explodes, then there's a zoom in back to the enemy, right? As he goes back to the previous phase, and then what happens is the player just sort of appears again and the enemy starts shooting at you, and that doesn't feel great because that allows for the player to be hit immediately, especially if they don't know that that's going to happen. So what I think should happen instead is that the player is hit, you know, there's a little sprite of the player dying or whatever, and then you zoom in back on the enemy, you see its health get refilled, and then when its health is done refilling, you zoom back out to the position that the player is going to spawn at, but the player hasn't spawned there yet. What instead happens is that there's a little area that tells you, oh, press X button to respawn or to reappear or whatever, and then you press it and then you're back in the game. And so the player just sort of has control over that, and before the player appears, the enemy does not shoot, right? That's the idea. That all seems pretty complicated, and we're going to need to create a couple systems for that to happen. So I don't expect that we're going to finish that today, but we should at least be able to get started. And the first thing that I can think of doing is that we need a way for the enemy to recover health upon receiving a certain signal. So the enemy, when the player dies, the enemy has to receive this signal to recover health. right? And that should be visible on its thing, but that's just due to the way that it works, that just comes automatically. And but that's another thing that I need to do actually. Let's put that on the to-do list just that I have it for later. We need to do health bars that look presentable. Right, just like that. Of course, that look presentable. So those are the things that we need to do. Right, so first order of business is some way for the enemy to recover health upon receiving a signal. We'll see about how the enemy receives that signal later, but for right now, we just need him to recover the health. That should be easy because the health bar is its own script that is right here, right? It's all of this stuff. So the health bar has, so we're gonna have to review how this script works and how this whole node tree works. Luckily, it's a very simple node tree, just has a label and is only concerned with updating that label according to health numbers that it obtains from where? It has a variable. Yes, okay, so this node is not only the one that displays the health, it's also the one that keeps track of the health. So it's the whole health system, really. It has a bunch of faces that represent how much health whatever it is attached to currently has, right? Or rather, is able to have. It has a counter for the current phase it's in, the max health of the current phase, and the amount of health that it is currently having. So when the bar is updated, yeah, string health, phase, string current phase. Yeah, this updates the bar to have, well, the text right now. It's going to be a bar later. It's going to update the text to show the current amount of health and the number of the phase that it's currently in. On ready, it's going to set the current phase to 0, the max health to the maximum of the current phase, and the health to the max health, right, so that you start at full health. And then it updates the bar. Then every time you take damage, you reduce health by that amount. Health is smaller, if health is smaller than or equal to 0, then the current phase advances. You emit the phase changed signal. Then if the current phase is equal to the size of the phases, then you emit the health depleted signal. Otherwise, okay, so let's see how that works, right? So currently has 10 health and is on phase 0. Now it has 100 health and is on phase 1. Yeah, so it does currently update the phases. Then it has 12 health and it's on phase 2, and then it disappears because it no longer has any more phases, right? Like if I added one here, then it will go up to that one instead. Okay, so I think I have an idea of how I want to do this, but first I'm going to go to the restroom, so give me a second. Oh, fuck. Well, what a way to come back, huh? Those ugly fucking coughing noises. I'm dying. I'm made out of bone. I'm made out of bones. My bones are made of glass. That's what I wanted to say. Oh, fuck. The joke is completely ruined now. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'll just end the stream. This is the only way to save face at this point. Just no use. No use. I'm back. Oh, we're a professional streamer, like I said. Anyway, okay, so what was I doing? Yes, I was thinking of a system that I could use in order to make sure that the enemy recovers health properly. So the idea that I have in mind is for the enemy, because the whole point is that the enemy should go back a phase when it recovers health, right? That's what I was thinking. So I think that the best way to do this is but like if you were close to the end of a phase, then it should leave you close to the end of the previous phase, right? The idea is to reward be able to reward the player getting close to the end of a phase by showing them that but by letting them sort of skip over the phase that they're being pushed back to. Am I explaining this right? I feel like what I said made no sense. What I mean is that if, like, when you get hit, when you die, the enemy should recover 1 health bar's worth of health. That doesn't mean that it's going to have, like, the previous health bar completely full, right? It's going to, like, if you were halfway down the current phase, then you're going to be plopped halfway down the previous phase. So you're always 1 phase behind if you lose health. That means that if you were just this close to finishing this phase, then you're not going to be put right at the beginning of the previous phase, but you're going to be put right at the end of the previous phase, so you can get to the current phase that you almost beat just faster, right? That sort of rewards any minute progress that you have done, right? And that should make it just better. It makes it feel better, right? So the idea then is to, but that should be true regardless of how much health the phase has. So if the phase has like 400 health and the previous has 20, and you were like 10 away from this one, then you shouldn't be 10 away from the other one, because that's about to end this phase, but that's halfway through the previous phase. So it should be sort of proportional, right? And there's a way to do this, and it's math. It's always math. We need a function in the health. Say I closed the one I didn't want to close. We should make a function within the health bar script that just sort of does that, right? And it should be what should it be called? Let's just go with function recover phase. And it's going to be how much of a phase you should recover in terms of percentage, and the default is going to be 1, right? So the idea is this is if it tells you how much of a phase you're going to recover. So if you recover 1, then this is going to land you in the proportional point of the current health that you have of the previous phase, right? I'm explaining this like shit, but I assure you I know what I'm doing. I know I have a good idea of what I'm thinking of. But the question is how, right? So the first thing is that I want to recover the health immediately, but I want to have also a display that just sort of goes up little by little. The reason to do this is that I don't want to be changing the health number because that could cause issues, but I do want the health to increase bit by bit, right? So we probably need a second variable that is the display health as opposed to the current actual health. So variable display health, right? This is an integer. And so anytime you update the health in this context, when you take damage, you should also display update the display health. So health, yeah. Display health, and because these are just amounts of 1, we're just gonna make it equal to health. But then we might have to change that later. This is just so that it works right now. And we could use a setter function so that each time the display health is changed, this function is called just automatically. So setter function got a 4.3 because I'm pretty sure that it's different in 4.4. Setter function got a 4.3. 3. 3. Setter function got a 3. Got a 3. Where is it? Yeah. But don't give me the reference in Spanish. What do you think I am? Okay, so stable, and I want to go for 4.3. Oh, there's the menu for the versions. Okay. So yeah, got out 4.3. And then setter. We're looking for setter. GD script reference the setter C# basics control data preference GD script reference functions. Properties, setters and getters. Sometimes you want a class member variable to do more than just hold data and actually perform some validation or computation whenever its value changes. And this should be done with set. Okay, so yeah, it's pretty much what I thought. So we have this, and then whenever you set it to a new value, I want you to change to call this function update bar. And then the update bar function is going to let's just pass it the value. Why not? Value is an int, and then instead of health it's going to be value, and then you're going to pull current face from the current face. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, like that. So that basically makes us that every time this value is changed, this function is called, and so that means that we don't need to explicitly call it here because it'll just update the value on its own, right? So that's good. And now we have this recover phase. So what we actually want to do is we want to take the current health and make it, well, make it equal to what, right? Well, there are basically two cases that are going to be here. Either we are on the first phase, in which case you have to recover all that. There's no previous phase to go back to, right? So, that's just going to have to be what happens. So, if current phase equals 0, then health has to become equal to current phase to phases point current health, right? Phases point current health. No, to phases, but what the fuck am I doing? To phases point phases, the member 0 in that array, and inside of that, oh no, just a member 0 in that array. That's just the amount of health. To a few arguments for update bar, expected at least 1, received 0. You don't need to do that. Just like health equals health, like that. Yeah, there you go. That's how you did. Yeah, the inside the phase is the health of that phase that corresponds to that phase, which is what a phase is in this context. Right. So yeah, if that is the case, but that is only the case if the current phase is 0, because we have no previous phase to go to. If the current phase is something other than 0, then we have to do some math, right? So basically, we want to find, well, first of all, current phase, because the current phase is the previous, right? So there. Then the current health, we have to basically check what's the proportionality on here. So we need a new variable that is the fill amount, the proportional fill amount, right? So this fill amount is going to be equal to the current health divided by the total health of the current phase. So phases, current phase the current health, the current health divided by the total health of the current phase, right? So that's gonna give us how much of the phase is filled as a number from 0 to 1, right? And then we have to see how that corresponds to the previous phase, so the one that we're moving into. So health is going to be equal to the fill amount times the phase's current phase, right? And make sure that this is a float, because that's the only way that this works. Actually, I should probably just make sure that these are floats, because as of currently these are ints, and that may give me a bad that may give me a bad number, because this is number from 0 to 1, right? So if I just use ints, then they're going to be limited, and then dividing them is going to give me either 0 or 1, and that's not what I want. I want a decimal. And then this fill amount phases current phase, right? And then this is going to give me the current health that corresponds to that phase. Hold on. I'm thinking of something. That's not gonna work with an amount other than 1. This is exclusively for an amount of 1. You know what? Let's do it so that the amount can only be 1. Honestly, I can't be asked to think of that. It's not like I'm gonna use it. Oh, but I am going to use it for difficulties though, aren't I? Oh, do I even really want to do that? Because see, in that case what I have to do is actually calculate the amount of health that's between the 2 phases. So that is the amount of health missing from the current phase plus the reciprocate of the health of the current. I don't know how to say it, but I know what I'm thinking. Basically I have two health bars that may be of different size, and I want to have if the current health bar is at only 20%, then I'm going to need 80% of the current health bar plus 20% of the previous one, right? And then that is the amount of health that I recover if the number is 1. But if it is less than that, then I need to multiply it by that number. And if it's more, you know, same. So basically take the fill amount. The fill amount of this phase corresponding, the fill amount corresponding to this phase. Yeah, this is the amount that this is the amount that the current phase is filled, right? So total let's create a new variable that is total health. The total health that corresponds to 1 phase of recovery. So the total the health to recover. This for now is just equal to the amount of health missing from the current phase. So phases current phase minus the current health. So that is the amount of health missing from the current phase. And then to that we have to add health to recover, the fill amount times the health of the current phase. So of the current phase, which has been reduced, so it's of the previous phase, the previous now current phase, right? So that is the amount that it is filled. The amount that this phase was filled, and we're going to pass this to an end because, or rather we're going to floor. So basically get rid of the decimal and add it to the amount. And then the actual health that we're going to be recovering is health to recover equals the amount, which is going to by default equal to 1, right? And then the health that we're going to actually recover is going to be equal to that amount that we calculated, which is for 1 phase, times the amount of health that we actually want to recover in phases. So that is going to be the total amount of health that we're recovering, right? Then we need to calculate how much health you actually have with that amount of recovery. So if you recover health to recover amount of health, then your health will end up at health plus equals health to recover. It's going to end up at this amount, but this amount could overflow the current phase, in which case you need to start the previous phase at 0 health and add the amount of overflow. So health, we're going to have another variable overflow, that is going to be equal to yeah, this is, I should change the current phase here at the end. And this is, yeah, and then here there's this current phase. Current phase -1. This is phases. Current phase is current phase. Yeah, the current phase is. Yeah, this is the total amount of health that was missing from the current phase, and then from the previous phase, the current amount that was filled corresponding to, yeah, the amount that corresponds to the portion of the current phase that was filled of that previous phase, but applied to. I'm saying words that only make sense to me, man. And then, yeah, so, we have that overflow. And yeah, the overflow is how much health the current phase has, is the amount of health that we have minus the amount of health in the current phase. Phases, current. This is the maximum amount of health in the phase, right? So that is the amount that it overflows by. And then this is the amount. Yeah, this is the amount that it overflows by. So then, if that amount is larger or equal to 0, so if overflow is larger or equal to, is larger to 0, right? Then go to the previous phase, and health is equal to the overflow instead of overflow, right? What if it overflows again? Theoretically, it should only do that if... Let's assume that it's not gonna. Theoretically, it should be impossible unless you use an amount value that is higher than 2. Theoretically. We have another problem. We need a display current phase as well as a display health. So, fucking... display phase and then open bar display phase. That basically does the same thing. Set value and then update bar. And then this is going to be the other way, so display health, display phase. Or well, not display phase, it should be valid. It should be like that. And then this one is going to take those two values. Display phase. display face, which is another int, and then rather than current face, you're going to be shown the display face, right? And this is so that I can change the face without changing the display face necessarily yet. And then, yeah, right. And then we need a way for the display health to just begin catching up to the display health, right? When their values are different, which they're not going to be here. They're not going to be on the take damage function because the current phase is because these two get changed. Yep, and they should change the display face as well. Display face equals the current face, like that, right? So that's not going to be a problem here, but for here it's going to be because the health gets changed by a massive amount. So I wanted to take some time for the actual display to catch up, so that you can see it filling up bit by bit. Right, that's the idea. That's the whole reason for doing this complicated system. So we're going to need a function that runs on process. So process. It's going to be process, not physics process, because this is just for a display thing. It's not actually have to do with anything that's actually a moving thing that you need to collide with. So the way that this is going to work is we're going to have... I could make a timer node, but the timings are going to be so little that I am afraid that the timer is going to be collapsing, right? Basically, I want it to be on the order of like 0.1 seconds, right? The idea is that filling 100 bits of health is going to take... it's going to take... 100 should take like a second at most, right? That way I can have faces that are 200 health long, and it's not going to stay half an hour doing this whole update thing. So the way that it should work is we need a timer. We need to know how much time that's going to... Actually, let's not worry about performance right now. Let's just make sure that it works, and then if it lags with the timer, then we'll change to the delta method, but if not, then we can just leave it like that, right? So let's try doing a timer. So we're going to need a timer at on ready variable timer tick timer of type timer is going to be equal to, and you will create a child node, and this is going to be a timer. We're going to call it tick timer because why not? Tick timer, and we're going to call it here, right? And so we have that, and then we have to make sure that every time this every time you run the process, we're going to check if the health and the display health are different, and if the face and the display face are different. And if so, we're going to fire up the timer until they're... Actually, let's make a variable so that we don't have to fire the timer every single time. We can just do it automatically. So let's just do a variable that is for that. So variable differing display. So if the display amount is different from the actual amount, then it's going to be true, otherwise it's going to be false. And so we have to set it to true whenever... Actually, you should check it here. So if not deferring display, then you're going to be checking if they defer or not, right? So if health is different from display health, or current phase is different from display phase, then deferring display is equal to true, and you're going to see what you do about it next process. So that means that you need to do a couple of things. Different display is going to be equal to true, and you have to set up the timer. So we're going to take the tick timer, and we're going to set auto start to true so that it runs many times, and then we're going to unset it when and you're going to set its time. Well, actually, its time can just be set here, can it? So let's just make it 0.1, right? Just 0.1 maybe too much, but we'll worry about that later. Set it to true, and then make sure to start it. So give it a kick. The tick timer point start. Right? Exactly like that. Different display. Apparently, I misspelled it. Is deferring with 1F or 2Fs? I should make sure to spell this properly. Deferring. It is with 2Fs, but it's with only 1 R. That caught me off guard. Deferring display, like that. Yeah, there you go. That's how you spell it. Okay. So if there is no different display, then you're going to check whether there actually is, and you haven't noticed. And if there is, then you set up the timer and make sure that works. If there is a different display, then you don't have to do that, because the timer itself is going to tell you when to check when that stops being the case. So now we need to make a callback here, a signal. We need the timer to signal to the health bar script when it has timed out, right? On tick timer timeout, we're going to change display health. So we're going to take display health and add 1 to it, right? Actually, we shouldn't add 1 to it just yet. We should check if adding 1 is going to take us over the current phases, the current display phases, total amount of health. So we're going to check for that. If display health is larger or equal, if display health plus 1 is larger or equal to the current phase, the current displayed phases, display phase, phases, to the current display phases health, total health, then that means that we have to go to the next health, right? So the next phase, hold on, actually, am I thinking, first we have to make sure that the current amounts are not equal to, because if they are, then that means that we have reached it, and then we can just... No, actually that should happen unchanged. That should happen whenever it's changed. So we change first and then we check. Yeah, if the current amount plus 1 is larger or equal than the current phase's max health, then that means that we have to move back a phase. So display health has to be changed to 0. 1. Let's change it 1. Oh fuck, I'm gonna have an off by 1 error on this one, aren't I? Display health is going to be equal to 1, and display health, display phase is going to be equal to the current display phase minus equals 1, right? We're doing no check-in because that's supposed to have happened in the recover phase function. So this is going to error catastrophically or gonna be perfect. No in between. If that is not the case, then we have to just continue recovering health balance. So display health, add 1 to it. So plus equals 1, right? After you have changed it, the display health and the display face need to be changed. After you have changed them, check if we have reached the current. So if display health equals the actual amount of health that we have, and display face equals the current phase that we're at, then we're done. And being done means that we have to stop kicking off the timer. So tick timer point out auto start equals false. And just in case it has for some reason started, because it could be because it's running on a separate thread, I think, we have to make sure to stop it. So tick timer point stop. Right? And that's going to stop the timer, and then we're going to stop recovering health because we know that they're at the same amount. And updating these means that the setter function is going to run, so the text is going to be updated automatically, right? Oh my god, that was a pain in the ass. Okay. So, we don't yet know if this works. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make it so that this enemy recovers health when I press a button, because I don't want to do the whole reaction to the player dying yet. Like, I've been at this for a while now, so I kind of want to leave it here. So I just want to test it without having to do that. So let's go to the stage scene and let's grab this debugger script. And we are going to make it so that when this is pressed, what you're going to do is you're going to grab the angel and you're going to tell it to recover health. Actually, just tell it to debug, right? Just tell it to do its debug. And the angel is going to know that its debug means function debug. Its debug means that it should which is the angel? That's the angel. Okay. It should know that its debug means that it should take the health bar. This is not how you actually code, right? I'm just doing this to actually test. It should recover face. Right, so it should do the recover face thing. Right, like that. And so I just gotta check what the actual debug key is in my thing. I'm pretty sure it's tab. Yep. So that should do it so that whenever I press tab, what the fuck is going on here? I think it's just because I forgot to set the display face. So it's currently stuck at a number that it shouldn't be. Current face is 0. Display face is currently current face. It should just be 0 anyway, right? What is going on here? Obviously, this is kind of doing shit. This. Is the tick timer on auto start? There's no. But it's clearly running, right? So something kicked it off the run, which means that this is a running, right? So... like... are you? Like, what's going on? Which one of these is happening for that to be the case? So print me both conditions. right? Print me this one, and then print me the other one. And then we'll see which one is true, right? Actually, we should probably just condition 1 and then add to that the boolean result of all this shit. Really, I can't concatenate shit that easy? Okay. Then whatever, let's just condition 1 and then the other is going to be condition. And then we can know which one is evaluating to true. They shouldn't, just when the game begins, they shouldn't. Condition 1 true, condition 2 false, condition 1 true, condition 2 false. Okay, so for some reason your health is never equal to your display health. I make them equal here, so when are they becoming non-equal? Health is being edited. You haven't taken damage yet, that shouldn't have happened. When are you? When are you being changed, actually? Your health is equal to your max health, and then your display health is made equal to your health. Your display health should be equal to the health. So why is this true? Why is this true every frame? Actually, is this every frame? Why is this true the first 2 frames? Well, show me both of them, right? Show me the health and the display health. Well, what are they? Show me the health and show me the display health. And why are they not equal? One is 10 and the other is 0. Hold on, give me a sec. Why would one be 10 and the other 0? And the other one is 3 and the other is 0. So this one is for the player, I know that, and this one's for the enemy. That's the only way that is the case. So the enemy has 10, and for some reason display health has become 0. Display health, when you update bar, do you change any of those? No, you don't. Why is the display health is the one that is displayed second, right? Yes. So its display health is 0 for some reason, even though in the first process it should be made equal to I mean, fucking show here, right? Show me here. Is it 1? Is it 10 or is it 0? It should be 10. Condition 1. Set display health. What is it equal to? It should be 10. In this instance, it should be 10. So set display health to 0. Set display health to 0. Health equals the max health. This is current phase. The health equals the max health. The display health should be equal to the health. What's the health at this point then? Because both of the times it said 0, right? One is for the player and the other for the thing. So health should be 0 in both then. So display health 10 and 3. Why? I literally made it equal right here. You set the display health to the health. So that means that it should be, one should be 10, then the other should be 10 as well. I forgot to set it equal to on this. Yeah, the setter function overrides the normal set. It doesn't add on top of it. It completely overrides it. So if the setter function doesn't set the value, then the value is just not set. Which makes sense because setter functions are used to filter values a lot of the time. So you wanted to be able to say, actually, no, we're not setting that value, right? You wanted to be able to do that. This is going to work now. Yeah. Yeah, see? Okay, now we have an issue. Some bug happened. But, you know, that's... I'm fairly confident that that's because I forgot to update the display face in some point. So whenever current face is changed as a result of taking damage, display face is changed as a result of... Whenever current face is changed as a result of taking damage, right? The display face should be changed as well. But there's only one point when that happens, and that is this, and they make sure to change the display face along with it, so I don't know what's going on there. Well, in any case, we don't need any of these prints anymore, so get rid of them. So what is actually going on here then? When you go to the next phase, right? That is when the error starts happening. So you take damage, your health is less than or equal to 0. So then you go to the next phase +1. Oh, right. This needs to happen here because sometimes the health gets corrected, and if it gets corrected after the display health has been set, then, you know, then they're not the same anymore, and so the process is going to catch that. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so now it's working as it was. So now if I press the debug key, we are currently at less than half on the current phase. So it should be less than half, or, you know, on the previous phase when I pressed tab. So you see it has started recovering, and it should stop at just less than half. Okay, so that works. We should probably make the timer a little bit smaller though, so that it's let's say 0.01. Let's say that much, right? It's going to be really quick, but the idea is that when you have a phase with like 1,000 health, then it's going to equal an animation of the thing being said. What is this? Very low timer wait times, less than 0.05 seconds, may behave in significantly different ways depending on the rendered or physics frame rate. Consider using a script process loop instead of relying on a timer for very low wait times. Okay, let's make it 0.05 then. You know, so this is the point at which you stop complaining, then I'm gonna set it to that. But that is exactly what I was saying before, right, about how it's not going to work. So let's see how that looks with this current set time, right? And, right. If I recover it once more. Oh, okay, so here's an error. For some reason that is only happening once. If I press the debug button again, it's not allowing that to happen. So, okay, I feel like I've been streaming for long enough right now. My throat is starting to get sore. I kind of wanted to play Dynasty Warriors later on, but I'm not sure I should. It's pretty late and my throat is getting sore and it's very cold. I think it's coming down with a cold, which apparently are the only times that I ever stream. So I'm going to stop it right here, and hopefully there will be another stream soon where I get to do those things. But let's write that on the to-do list. Fix that, or rather, just make sure why it is, because if it is a bug on the debug function, then I don't care, right? The debug function is not going to be actually in the game, so check why the health recovery only seems to happen once, right? And then we take all this, and these are the things basically that we have to do tomorrow. So, or well, I say tomorrow. Next time we work on this. So let's just make this, shrink this a little bit. There you go. Okay. So that was good progress. I feel we did fairly complicated stuff. Certainly more progress than I have made in the entirety of this month before, haha, because this is the first time I've worked on this month. Yeah. So that's gonna be me for today. I kind of hope to keep going, and then my throat started hurting, and I still have a toothache from going to the dentist. So it just kind of feels like it will be more joyous of a time if I don't go. Also, looking at my microphone, I'm noticing that it's been peaking this whole time. You fuckers, you're supposed to tell me about that kind of thing. Has it been peaking, or is it just the microphone thinking that it is peaking? Because sometimes the red light turns on, but like, I don't know, I feel like I'm gonna have to check the VOD and make sure that the microphone hasn't been peaking. And check out to fix that, because that seems to be a consistent issue where it didn't used to be. Anyway, bye-bye. Have a good night. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.